Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, today we are going to talk about the formula video part that is basically 132. Here, basically, we are going to discuss about one topic that is basically Aadhaar card, PAN card, and passport. Basically, how basically that's connecting to the earthquakes, basically, and how the datas are basically started capturing each and everything basically. So we will start from basically PAN card basically. PAN card basically mostly basically people use for the income proof basically, you can say that this person is having this much income. For example, few people basically don't have any track basically that whether he is getting income or not. For that basically PAN card are not used. But here basically the government basically deducts some certain monies, and according to that basically the PAN card information are basically tracking the total income basically which he is getting according to the deduction basically which has happened. So like this basically government is tracking the income basically of the particular person, and like this the income basically was tracked basically of the particular person, basically how many income he is getting from since how many years basically. So like this the government is if government is telling that we want to do the ban of this particular person, then basically they directly do do something to PAN card and Aadhaar card. And like this, basically, the software company don't give any job offers. They don't call also. Like this, basically, lots of things happens. And this is basically, and nobody wants to interfere in government related task. Otherwise, they have to leave the country. So like this, lots of things has happened basically. That's why that is basically different thing. Now basically here we are talking about the how basically the PAN card basically came into it. So here basically I will take one story. There was one person basically um, each and every basically system basically started like these stories only basically. That is basically called as a uh, friendship story basically. It's a friendship story basically. It's a friend and ship story basically. So friends and their stories basically. So here basically the PAN card basically story says like this. There was one person basically. He was basically very poor. Very poor means he was from village person basically. He's a village person. So he told her that sorry, he basically done his study basically, and he basically done his study, and then basically he done the job, and then basically he started the business basically. Slowly he started the business, then he shifted to the Bangalore city. Like this, the Bangalore city, he basically was a village person basically, and he basically assumed that he is from Vadodara city. Like this, he went to the Bangalore city, and then Bangalore city he had done some job, then done some job and some business. Then basically he shifted to the United States of America, that is USA, and then he shifted to many countries and done his lots of business basically. Then he basically was so rich basically that if even basically chief minister basically of the any state basically have to take the permission of that person, of him basically, if anybody wants to meet him. So like this, up to that level basically any minister wants to meet him, then basically he has to take the permission basically. His permission is must basically. So like this basically he thought that basically he can't meet anyone basically because it's restriction on life basically has started, because he is basically so rich, and like this basically he has um, like this he basically has struggle his struggle life has ended, and rich life basically started. So basically, and lots of government has connected with that person basically. So due to that basically his life has become very restricted, so he can't go anywhere, he can't move to any place. So like this life was basically, his life was like that basically. So then basically he thought one day basically that basically how basically my friends are basically, up to what level life basically they are living, whether he is they are getting any money or not, whether they are getting any income or not, how much income they are getting. If not getting, then basically why he is not getting the income. So each and every information basically to track. He told basically one Indian government that basically I want to track each and every income of my friends basically. So like this, he basically started from private sector. Then basically one card was issued basically. Assume that card was given name as a Aadhaar PAN card basically. He basically given the name as a PAN card. So PAN card basically was containing each and every income basically which he was getting, and which was basically approved, and which government have the information. That information only basically PAN card have basically. So like this basically his each and every friends basically were issued that card. Like this basically he was able to track the basically how many friends are getting how many income, and he tracked that with basically there are few friends basically who were basically not able to earn the money also basically. He was not able to earn the money up to his he can't basically survive himself also basically. Up to that level basically money he was not getting. So like this basically he was not able to take his expense also. Then basically how he will take the expense of the families basically. So like that basically he tracked that each and every person basically. And then basically he told that government that this all basically are my friends, so they are not supposed to get any type of problems basically. So like that the basically government told that this is basically nice system basically track each and every information of the income, and how up to what level basically. Even basically nowadays the presidents and rashtrapatis and presidents and the prime ministers basically are from poor family, where basically came from poor family, but they are now rich basically. So just taking as an example, assume that USA president or basically Europe president basically were from very small family, and then basically they become very rich basically after getting the such powerful post basically. So just taking as an example basically. Um, so basically they told that basically we want the each and every friend's information. So like that basically they also told, yeah, basically this PAN card system is good system basically. So like this, the Indian government basically introduced the PAN card system basically, and the European friend basically, who European friend, Americans friends basically, they told that yeah, basically now we can able to see our friends' income basically, how much income they are getting, and if not getting, then why they are not getting. If they are getting less, then basically why they are getting less. Like this, basically each and every information basically they track basically. So now basically this is basically friendship Pangad. So basically here basically we will have one song basically, that is basically this song. So this is basically old song basically, and basically this is connected with the friendship basically. This is a friendship song basically. But nowadays friends basically how they are friends basically. I will take one example of one of my friend basically how he got a friendship gift basically. Basically he was staying in Mumbai, he has taken one house basically for rent basically, and he has dumped a few around 5 to 6 lakh rupees, each and every materials like television, fridge, kitchen materials, then bed, computers, like this basically he dumped each and everything basically into his house, and he taken the materials basically for the home use purpose basically. So like this, he basically stayed for one day basically, and then basically suddenly came from suddenly his friend basically, one of his friend basically was basically best friend. He called that friend basically called that person basically where the Mumbai basically friend. So he called that and told that basically I got married. I basically got one marriage basically, and my I told my wife that basically I have house in Mumbai, and I have basically nice house in Mumbai basically, and each and everything's basically human needs basically whatever things are required for running the house basically, that basically I have it. So like that basically he told live, and then basically the Mumbai friend basically told, okay, okay, you can do one thing, you can stay in my house, I will stay in lodge. So basically he basically was staying in lodge, and he basically given his key to that friend basically, where basically he was staying. So his friend basically stayed for a few days, and then basically that friend basically was staying in lodge, he was having mosquitoes, I don't know what he was having his life basically. So like that basically he was having basically that type of life basically in lodge. Even basically he have his houses, he basically he was having his rented house, and he was having good living standard life basically, materials basically in his house. So like that basically he thought that that lodge person basically thought one day that basically it's my house, so why should I visit the house basically. So then he basically thought that I should visit my house, so he went to his house, and then basically that was locked basically. When he asked the neighbor basically, they told that your friend basically has given this key and told that he basically has left the house. So when he opened the house basically, the house was empty, and not a single home need material was there, and each and every materials basically which was basically to use the home for human for house need purpose basically, that beds, fridge, kitchen materials, then computers, then each and every basically materials, that is basically gas, stove, each and everything basically, the heater was there, then each and everything was basically there. So there basically when he opened the house, the house was basically empty. Just to see basically nowadays friendship basically, that is. So that day basically that person thought that that person basically told that story to very old people basically. Then basically to old people told that, oh, nowadays friendship basically has become like this basically. Now basically in our time basically the friendship was like that basically. That is basically the song basically which we have saw just now basically. We will see basically this song, the song basically song again basically. So basically, just so this is basically related to friendship basically. So here basically we are discussing about the PAN card basically, PAN card story basically, how the PAN card basically came into picture. So like this basically here basically what I want to say is each and every system in this world basically. each and every system basically, when you see in detail basically, that basically started from one of the friends basically. So that only basically I want to say. So this is basically related to PAN card basically. So next basically we will say the story can be anything basically, but story is are each and every governments basically stuff basically each and everything basically are connected with the governments, each and every friendship stories only basically you can say. So this is basically related to one PAN card basically information, and then basically in next episode we are going to see about the Aadhaar card and passport.